Hey there, Grateful Gang. Happy July 16th. And we are on episode 15 of Gratefully Living the Chronic Life. Woo! Thank you all for joining us tonight. We've got a fantastic topic. Well, I think it's fantastic because I'm going through it myself personally. Where we're talking about concentration and improving focus. That's what I'm hoping to do tonight, and I would really like for you all to contribute any kind of story or thought or tip or trick that you might have, because I know there's a lot. I want to start by just I have a question I'm going to put out now, and you guys can think about it, and then comment if you want. Let me see. Okay. The first one is, tell us a funny story which relates to you forgetting things. Yeah, but we'll discuss that in a little bit when we get to a topic. But I almost have too many to think of just one. But that's okay. How are you guys tonight? Hope you had a good week. It's already the middle of July, which is hard to believe. I feel like with the pandemic and everything, I feel like I, hunkered down, in my house in the winter. And then next time I was out, it was summer. I don't know what happened, but Rob and I are having a good time. We planted 14 different varieties of tomatoes this year, which I've done myself over the years, but Rob asked me, would you like him to do it this year? And I'm like, you know what? No, because he ends up doing all the work. He plants them. He takes care of them. All I do is get to enjoy them. And last year, I don't know what I did wrong, but I killed them all. I think I had like a Charlie Brown looking tomato plant. It was all dead with one lone tomato out of 16 different varieties. So even though I told Rob no, he went and he got some plants and he planted them all for me. And now our big night out is when we're both done working for the day at around 5-6 o'clock. We go down to our little tomato garden and we look at each plant and we've got some cherries coming, which is very exciting to me. Oh, and we have more than a cherry. We have a lemon boy, it's called. It's about this big. And it's yellow. I love the funky ones, like the purple ones and all that stuff. So I'm very excited for Lemon Boy. And Early Girl, I'm sorry, this girl needs to learn from the boy because Early Girl's doing nothing. She's not early. I think it's a scam. So anyway, came in winter, came out summer. Now I get to grow tomatoes and I have New Jersey corn on the cob, which makes me very, very happy. I want to thank, last week we had such a great episode, which actually was the touchstone for this episode. I want to thank again Eva O'Malley for joining us. Our topic was, what was our topic called? It was called I Can't Do This. I Can't Seem to Do This. And she shared with us her vast knowledge of ADHD and how parts of it might possibly relate to things that may be going on with us. It was really just like it was something put out there that with maybe some tips that you guys hadn't thought of. I know I had the first time I heard it through her, I was like, whoa, I need to have you on a show because it's all very interesting. So thank you, Eva, for joining us last week. The reason why it was kind of the touchstone of this week, because immediately after that show, we got so much great information from her. Immediately after that show, I wanted to write stuff down from her so I would remember it. And I had to do a couple things. I had to answer a couple like emails or whatever. And it was so much that my head was almost like, I couldn't concentrate. That's my point. And that's not unusual for me. I wanted to write it all down and I kind of didn't know where to start. And then a lot of it I lost. So I thought it wasn't even a question. I'm like, this week we need to talk about concentration, improving focusing, because I've talked to a lot of you over the years about being able to focus or not, losing our memory. Is it part of aging? Is it part of our chronic condition? What do we do about it? I really thought it was going to be chock full of stuff for us to talk about tonight, and I really think there is. So let's see who we've got here so far. We'll say hi. For those of you that haven't been with us before, if you haven't done so already, you need to give StreamYard your permission to use your name on this screen. If not, you come up as like this first one, Facebook user. Hi, Facebook user. Awesome. Let's see, who could that be? I think this person is totally trying to get me to guess. The sunflower tells me Deborah. Maybe the cactus too. I'm not sure. But anyway, my point was that if you don't give StreamYard permission to use your name, you come up as Facebook user. If you log out and log back in, I've been told by some people it works and other people say it doesn't work. But you can try it. If not, and you come up as Facebook user, if you could just put your name towards the end of the post so I know who to give credit to. And if not, you can just be Facebook user. Those of you that have been around a while know that I was trying to be cute and funny at one of our early episodes, and I thought I would take the abbreviations for Facebook user, and as soon as it flew out of my mouth, I knew it wasn't going to work. So Facebook user, it will remain. But yeah, I'm wondering with those icons who it could be. Thumbs up and sunflower tells me Deborah Emmer-Scott. We'll see. Okay, who's next? Diana McGillivary Brusso says, all right. Oh, these were from, I think these were from the post that leads into this. So when I advertised it yesterday, I think those last two posts were from that. So hopefully Facebook user, I'm trying to remember Facebook user. I think that was Jen Leos that made that comment. And I knew she was going to be late tonight. She hasn't logged in. So mystery solved. She's got cacti all over the place where she is too. Okay, we have Linda Edwards. Hello, everyone. Hi, Linda. Thank you for joining us. And Diana McGillivary Brusso, yum. Okay, what do we have as yum? Oh, tomatoes. I know, right? I'm a tomato-aholic. As if I need another holic thing after my name. But yes, tomatoes. In New Jersey, we have really good, I guess, climate for growing tomatoes. And those of you that aren't new to the area know Jersey tomatoes are kind of a big thing. And the way I like to best enjoy a Jersey tomato, let's see if you guys you'll either think this is gross or you'll relate. Slice it up thin, nice sized tomato like that. If I'm getting all cocky now. Right now we do not have a tomato that size, but they are growing. They're green, so preferably around this size. Slice it up, salt and pepper. I'll let you do some truffle salt if you have it, because that's just to die for. Two slices of Wonder Bread with no nutritional value whatsoever. It's got to be Wonder Bread because it's soft and it melts in your mouth. You don't want to take anything away from the tomato itself. And then it can be mayonnaise. And if you do mayonnaise, it's really got to be Hellmann's. I mean, let's face it. Or I will allow Miracle Whip here. I will. Because it's kind of delicious. So both slices of the bread, slap that on there. Put your tomatoes on there, top with the other slice. You're done. Now, I wouldn't dream of doing this from store-bought tomatoes out of season because you cut into them and they're like white inside and they have no flavor. But yeah, Jersey tomatoes are my jam. So, and I take them very seriously, clearly, because now I've just given you guys a recipe. Okay, hey, Gail. I didn't get a chance to answer you back today. Hello, everyone. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Gail. Glad you could be here. Oh, this is an interesting tidbit. You'd think for the tomato queen I would know. Margaret DeCarico Morris says yellow tomatoes are less acidic. That's actually really Good to know that this particular yellow one that I picked is called Lemon Boy, which obviously it's just a name for the color. But yeah, I'm supposed to have a less acidic diet, so that would be helpful. And I love them. I love the taste of them. So nice tip. Thanks, Margaret. Sarah, hello from Alabama. Sarah G is here. Hey, Sarah. I'm in such a severe flare that I couldn't do my Plaquenil eye exam today. Oh, that's okay. You can do it another day. I know that exam very well. I don't know how long it takes for you to get in with your doctor, but very glad you're here tonight when you're not feeling good. Sometimes it's difficult to do things that we know is going to help us. Stick with a treatment plan, take all your medications, if you exercise or any of that. I find when I feel bad, I make myself feel worse by eating crappy, or back in the old days I would be smoking like a chimney. I mean, you feel bad and you're smoking like a chimney? No. But anyway, Sarah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you thought to log in during your flare, and I hope you feel better soon. Heidi's here. Hi, Heidi. Hey, Bergie's here. Tracy Berger, Lerny. That's my nickname, Lerny. Tracy and I, if you guys haven't been to an episode, well, she's been here to many of them, Tracy, but she's my best friend from high school. She does not live with chronic pain, but she logs in because she likes the broadcast, and she's being a supportive friend, as she always has been. I love you, Bergies. Thank you for logging in. And you made me laugh at the lady. Julia's here. Hi. You didn't have to put Julia this time. It worked, Julia. Let's see if it continues. Bahaha, Freudian slip. Freudian slip. Did I see? My focus is so bad, I don't even know. If I think about it, I'll probably get it. Freudian slip. What did I do a Freudian slip on? I'm not sure, but you got to tell me now, Sarah. Oh, Pamela's here. Pamela Creighton. Hello, all. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for being here. This one is coming up as Facebook user. Hi, Lauren. Nice to see you. Thanks so much. Thank you for being here. Oh, Kathy's back. Hey, Kathy. Kathy Johnston. I just ate, but now I'm hungry. LOL. Yes. It's these things just melt in your mouth. They practically beg you to have two of them. Hi, Lauren. Oh, yeah. There's two Laurens in the group. Lauren Reese usually comes up after mine when you try to tag. Meg Anderson is putting some great stuff up on the page lately. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Meg. Thanks. I'm glad you could be here. Sorry, wrong Lauren. Yeah. Hey, Rick is here. My friend Rick. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Rick. He sent me a picture of his first grandchild. Beautiful little baby boy with that face, and he just saw it yesterday. First, I called him a girl, which was kind of a problem. I could have sworn you told me you had a girl, Rick, but glad for your little boy. Thank you for sending that to me. Sarah says, yes, and the purple tomatoes are delish and known as less acidic too. Well, those happen to be those are my first favorite, and then the yellow ones are second. Sometimes the red ones, they're good, but interesting. Purple and yellow. Rob, purple and yellow next year. He's listening in the other room. Good tip. I didn't know that. I would have thought purple with the color. I don't know. I'm not sure, but that's a really good tip. Thank you. Oh, Meg, don't worry about it. Grr. Happens to all of us. Tracy Berger sends a kiss. Thank you, Bergies. One right back at you. All right, Sarah says, I couldn't concentrate, oddly. Yeah. I'd forget to concentrate and click. LOL. Thanks for this format. Freudian slip, Facebook user. Oh, yes. The Facebook user abbreviation. Yeah. And I'm talking about concentration. I'm so out of it. I didn't even hear it until the U came out of my mouth. And then I heard it, and it was a good laugh. But I just don't have a tip that using that abbreviation is going to be good for our broadcast, so I don't. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Those of you that don't choose not to log in or to come on the screen, that's fine too. Just glad you're here. Hope we have a good topic for you all, and I'm curious to hear what you all have to say. If you didn't log in right away, I've already put one of the questions up, which I will put up again. Maybe. Possibly. Okay. Because our topic tonight is on concentration and improving memory function and focus. I know we all have at least one story in our backgrounds. Tell us a funny story which relates to you forgetting something, losing focus, anything along those lines. We'd love to hear it because you guys know if you can't laugh, some of the stuff we do is not funny. I'm losing my short-term memory pretty badly, and I don't find that funny, but sometimes I can. Sometimes I can, and I can laugh at myself because that's the way I find I can best deal with things, is to kind of make fun of myself in a loving way, of course. But there's all funny stories in our backgrounds, and I'm dying to hear what you guys have to say. Let's see what announcements. Not too many announcements tonight. Oh, I've got to show you my my shirt for the day. This one, I'm getting it down to the nitty gritty, by the way, you guys. It's now been 15. This is episode 15. I've worn a different gratitude shirt each week, but it's really getting down to like 3 or 4 left, which I guess for most people's a lot, but for my collection, it's not. But this one is one of my faves, and I can't believe I haven't worn it yet. It just says gratitude. I don't think it says something underneath. Oh, the company name, Love This Life, who I don't get paid for at all, by the way, but Love This Life, it's a brand that I first discovered. I think Kohl's carries their stuff, and they make jewelry. I had to get this shirt, and then somebody bought it for me, so actually I have 2. But they're a really cool company that focuses on gratitude and things like that. There's this awesome thing on the back of the shirt, which clearly I cannot read to you because it's on the back of my shirt. But then I remembered, I actually read this to the group at Flush the Format a couple weeks ago, I think, that I saved a tag from something I got of theirs. And it's exactly what was said on the back. So let me read this to you. Love This Life is about welcoming the blind turn and the possibility that there's no such thing as coincidence, and that empathy is incredibly sexy, and that it's never too late to pick up a guitar or a paintbrush or to make an amend or to make a new friend. Love this life because it could go at any second. You rock. Isn't that awesome? I love just the first line, welcoming the blind turn. I mean, what we all deal with here in AOG is dealing with a really pretty major blind turn, isn't it? That we weren't expecting in our life. So we try to figure out in AOG, we try to figure out how to love this life and to love our life more than we hate our pain. And I think we do a pretty good job of it. So there's my shirt, reading the thing. Thanked Eva already. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I had to announce. I forgot to ask my team if they had anything for me to announce tonight. But if you do, just say it, I guess. Happy Mail has been going well, from what I understand. I've gotten some pieces of Happy Mail myself, and it made me very happy. What else is there? I can, if anybody, these are our face masks, which are incredibly soft. Heidi, I have not mailed yours yet. I was hoping to get to it today, but just didn't. And Brooke Heidi, if you're listening, I haven't got yours in the mail yet either. International sort of in the mail, but really not. They're in a bag in my car along with the custom slips. They're ready to go, but one has to get to the post office first. And when one can't necessarily drive, that's a problem. But I will get them there, I promise. They're all ready to go. I was very proud of the international ones because those customs forms are terrible. Yeah, they're just the best. Free ply, you can stick them in the wash. I wish I had bought more extra, to be honest with you, because I was hoping to use them for prizes and stuff. Um, but maybe we can order more or something different. So, okay. And then I found some graphics that I thought were funny for our topic. Let's see if I can get them up without like logging us out, shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay. Here's the first one. Okay, so I've decided I don't really lose things. What actually happens is little gremlins run in and snatch the items while I'm not looking. Yep, that's it exactly. And the second one, which I really love, I'm losing my mind, but as long as I can keep the part that tells me when I gotta pee, I should be okay. The funny part about that for me is right now, I don't have the part of me that tells me when to pee, so I'm wearing protection. But see, like, if I didn't have you guys, that fact would really just make me want to cry all the time. But it's kind of funny. I mean, we used to borrow diapers from each other all the time. That's okay. It's not all the time for me. But even if you do lose the ability to pee, we'll put a little caveat in that. If you lose the ability to pee, never lose the ability to laugh. So let's change that. I'm losing my mind, but as long as I keep my sense of humor, I should be okay. I like that better. Okay, so again, for the 5,000th time, getting started with the topic at 8:25. That's not too bad. We'll see if we get to an hour tonight. We'll see. By the way, I keep meaning to mention this, and I haven't, but there's been a few times, a couple weeks ago, Seton Silver came on with me last week, and a couple weeks ago we had guests. If you ever feel like you want to come on the show, if you've got something you want to say and you want to say it live, I can add you onto the screen during a broadcast, or you can talk to me, after a broadcast during the week sometime. And if you feel like you've got, stuff you want to share, I'd love to have you on. Absolutely. Eva last week happened to be an expert in the field. Bruce Singer was an expert in his field. But you know what? We're experts in ourselves, right? Nobody knows us better than we know ourselves. Ooh, that was loud. I wonder how to turn my Facebook things off when I'm talking to you guys. Okay, where are we? So concentration and memory loss. I found out some very interesting things when I was doing research for this. This one I got from, it's a, what do we call it? An abstract, a medical abstract, and I found it in Science Daily. And this dates back to May 18th, 2007. And it starts with, anyone who has experienced chronic pain knows that it affects the ability to work, sleep, and perform other activities essential to leading a full life. Now, researchers at the University of Alberta have confirmed that chronic pain doesn't just cause physical discomfort, it can impair your memory and your concentration. And I think most of us have found that. But it's hard to know what is relating to our pain, right? So maybe the medications that we're on to help with the pain, or age. Most of us, some of us are getting into 40s, 50s, where we can, be losing our memory anyway. So it's kind of hard to know sometimes, isn't it? So let me go on a little bit. The findings of, after studying 24 patients, they seem to have zeroed in on one of the cognitive mechanisms affected by chronic pain. Their findings suggest that pain may disrupt the maintenance of the memory trace that is required to hold information for processing and retain it for storage in long-term memory stores. In other words, chronic pain can quite literally drive people to distraction. I'll say. I mean, gosh, just getting ready for this tonight. I usually give myself kind of all day on Thursdays to, now there's a lot involved in the day. I'm not just getting ready for this, but typically you'll find me showering before a broadcast, which I would guess you guys are appreciative of, although you can't smell me. So I think my family's grateful for it. But just kind of, I get really excited, especially for a topic like this, which I was super excited for. And I'll be like, oh, I have to remember to say this, and I have to remember to say this. And I'm writing down a million different places. And, then I'm going up to get some meds, and I'm petting the cat and rolling around on the floor with the cat. Like, I don't remember it ever being this bad before. Maybe it wasn't. I do know that, I've never had the greatest focus in the world. I don't know if I have ADHD or what, but my focus, I do a lot of things, and a lot of the tips we're going to talk about tonight rather, are things that I do. Some of them weren't. And besides the group question of coming up with sharing with us a funny story of anything that's happened to you in relation to memory loss or concentration, our other question of today is, tell us some tips that you use to maintain focus and or help with your concentration. We'd love to hear that and the funny story. One or the other, just lurk. You don't have to contribute anything, whatever works for you. But those are our two questions. And looks like we've got some comments. So if I can figure out how to do this or get rid of this. Bear with me. Oh. Okay. There we are, silly me. Okay, we got some comments. Let's see where we left off. Ooh, getting lots of good comments here, guys. Thank you. Okay, starting off, I think, with Sarah Garrison. Oh, no, we talked about that one, the Freudian slip, the Facebook user abbreviation. Yeah, that was really funny. Meg Anderson, here in California, we have Roma tomatoes, red oval-shaped, low acid. Oh my God, Meg, I can't believe you just brought this up. I wish I had a picture. Did I take a picture? Yes, I did take a picture with my phone. I think. I'm not really trying to be this flaky with my memory. It's really true, but I love myself, so I can love every part of me, including the part that loses memory. Well, it's an old one. How do I get it on the screen? Oh God, that could be an hour. All right, I'm going to try to show it to you. This was a couple weeks ago too. I know phone pictures don't come across great on there, but that is a Roma tomato plant. And it is the most it's got the most dense amount of fruit any other plant. There's that, and we have another like Roma tomato, and then the one next to this one is also bearing a lot of fruit. It's a globe tomato. I swear there's more fruit than plants. I'm very, very excited. And I know the Roma, if I'm not mistaken, the Roma San Marzano is a name for the Roma tomatoes that they grow in the volcanic soil of the San Marzano mountains, volcano. I'm not sure. I know more about tomatoes than I can't remember what happened half an hour ago, but those are low acid too. Very interesting. That one doesn't surprise me as much, only because I know that they use it for sauce because there's less juice and seeds in it and more meat. So I could see the juice and the seeds are what brings acid, I think. Thank you, Meg. And here's another Miriam Quinn. Hey, glad you could join us. Hi guys, hope everyone is well. Just popped in for a distraction from life and enjoy the talk. Good for you. Thank you for being here. Really excited to have you here. You guys never have to worry about popping in, popping out, whatever works for you. Kathy Johnson says, I'm wearing my gratitude shirt today too. Woohoo! I was going to wear mine. For those of you that may not have been around that episode. It was a couple weeks ago, but Kathy Johnston made me this beautiful shirt, has our AOG logo on it, along with like blowing flowers off of a dandelion. And when the flower, or the, what do you call them? The little things come off the dandelion when you blow it. They were actually little hearts. It was beautiful. And people liked it so much that they ordered from her. So if anybody's interested in the AOG t-shirt, we don't make any money off of this. Just, Kathy does this herself, and it's wonderful. Shoot, I wish I had a picture of that too. But it's great. It's really great. Kathy, hope you're feeling better. She just had surgery last week herself. Sarah says, lost my phone, was talking to my friend and was frantically looking for it. I had just left the library and drive across the street and was telling her I got to go back to the library to look for my phone. Before she could say anything, I was across the street, pulled up, parked, and busted out laughing. She said, what's so funny? I said, I'm talking in my phone while looking for it. I even left the restaurant and drove back to the library to find it. It worked. I found it. That's a good one. I would be surprised if there wasn't an experience for all of us where we lost our phone. I think I did almost that same thing a couple weeks ago. Although I wasn't the phone was in my hand. I wasn't actually on it at the time. That's a really good one, Sarah. Okay, Heidi says, I washed a face mask yesterday. I saw it with the clean laundry this morning and thought I put it where it would be easy to get to when I leave the house. When I was ready to leave the house, I couldn't find it. Of course. I was getting Karen Goldberg's package to mail out to her. I had a couple of things I wanted to send her along with the mask that she ordered. And my son brought it to the post office for me. And he came back and said, I need to fill out this customs form. I'm like, okay, well, I'll wait. At that point, I knew the masks were on their way in. So I'm like, I'll just wait until the masks are in and stick that in the already packaged, addressed, and all that container. Easy peasy. Let me put this off to the side in a safe place. My safe places are not safe from me. They're not. And, I try to stay organized. Sort of. I do try. That part is true. But I did eventually find it, but it took like a week of really, really looking. And the good news of that story, though, is that it sparked me to clean out my closet back there, which used to be my scrapbooking supplies closet. Now it's like scrapbooking supplies plus arts and crafts with Amy paints and then stuff to make planners, and now it's just and everybody's memories, like all the artwork from the kids when they were in school, when they were younger, and all that's in there, thinking that I will put them in a scrapbook someday. And I really do hope to do that. And that's actually a tip that I hadn't thought of to write down in there. I'm going to mention some tips to help improve memory function and all that. And I didn't think of the scrapbooking one, but that's a very, very good one, actually. I wonder if I'm going to try to turn this around. You're going to see, don't look there. It's all the way back there, but see the TV stand and see what's on top of it? Those are all scrapbooks. I made every single one of them. They're not all full, but they're from like when the kids growing up. I have a Rob and I dating album that I actually kept from when we were dating in high school, and it started falling apart, so I put it in a new one. I haven't scrapbooked probably, I know I started in like 1999 because I used to sell Creative Memories products. This was if you're not aware, it was a company that sold scrapbooking products, and it was like what do you call it? They didn't sell it in the stores. And we had parties at people's homes. And at the party, you would have somebody bring pictures and you would have them complete one page in the album, which you hopefully buy. But it's a good time. I used to have workshops here in my home. Some of you, Tracy Berger, Tracy, you always come up in everything I ever say. Tracy Berger was the one that told me about it because she was selling it first. And then she was my upline. So Bergie, I think, and Bergie's, she still does the scrapbooking. She puts us all to shame. Very proud of you. With me, life got in the way, and there's really no excuse. I have to get back to it. But when I used to sell it to people, the products, I would, we would do the scrapbook page, and then I would get into like a little talk, and I would say, if God forbid you have a fire in your house, the first thing you're going to grab is obviously your family, husband, if you have one, kids, friends, whoever lives in your area, your animals. And then if you have time, the last thing you're going to grab are those family photos, aren't you? They're irreplaceable. Thankfully, a lot of stuff is digital nowadays, but you have some of those old photos. I'm really not trying to sell you anything, but it seems like I am. Anyway, but I wanted to talk about the beauty of making scrapbooks is you get these pictures that maybe they were taken 30 years ago for all you know, and you put them in the scrapbook. It helps you to remember. And then, when you're making the page, a lot of times you write down, like you journal next to the photo. And I'm so grateful that I did that at the time, because now I read these memories and I don't remember them. So it's a beautiful gift. It's a beautiful gift because your memories, you can't get them back. So I would like to do stuff that keeps me from losing more memories. So that's why, part of the reason why I wanted to do this. I know it's not just me out there. Okay, we got Sarah. Let's see what else we got. We got Heidi with washing the face mask. Kathy, I am also having incontinence issues right now. I am grateful I'm not the only one. I'm so embarrassed I don't even want to go to the doctor about it. I was sort of embarrassed too. But I think if we don't talk about these things, we'll never know that we're not alone, right? When I first got sober, I would tell people why I went to Silver Hill for a month. I would give them half of the story, the chronic pain program story, which was absolutely true. I left out the part of how I got there, which was on the tail of 2 DUIs, the second one being I was very, very drunk, and I don't remember it to this day. So I was having some really legitimate drinking problems. It didn't last long, but it was bad. So I would be embarrassed in the very beginning, not long, but I didn't want to tell people. I was embarrassed that I drove drunk. I was embarrassed that how could I let this happen to me, which obviously it doesn't work like that. It is a disease. I firmly believe that. And it was my drinking was my pain management during this time. It was a terrible, terrible way to get rid of my pain, because I couldn't stop at one glass of wine, and I couldn't stop at wine in the end. How do we get on this subject? Being embarrassed. All right, so I'm gonna show you right here. Oops, let me put it over here. That is my diaper, which I believe is a hand-me-down from Amy, who also wouldn't mind me mentioning it. So Kathy, thank you for mentioning that too. I hope I don't know if that was hard for you or not, but I know there's more of you out there. And we can't help what happens to us. The only thing we can control is our reaction to it, right? We should get AOG diapers. I wonder if they could do such a thing. I bet nobody's ever had that question before. AOG diapers. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Thank you, Kathy, for saying that. So me, you, and Amy, we could have been the incontinence girls together. Actually, we still are. She's right here. She's wearing a diaper in here. A beautiful girl. All right, what do we got? Heidi says, this is the second cloth face mask that went missing. I can't use the paper ones because they give me hives. They really are kind of terrible, aren't they? I don't know if there's different grades. I know there's one like the N95 or something. They were talking about in the beginning of the pandemic that was supposed to be the best one for taking out, stuff in the air, airborne stuff. But the few times I've had to wear one, I don't really go out much, but the few times I've had to wear one, they get hot. And then if you wear glasses, you get the whole like fogging up thing. So I don't get hives, thankfully, like Heidi does, but I'm like sweating under there and I can't see anything because I'm all fogged up. So these things of beauty, very grateful they can make those. I'm going to try and call and see if I can order more. Okay, Bergies. I love when I'm standing in the shower with water pouring down my hair and trying to remember if I was wetting my hair, getting ready to wash it, or rinsing it because I just washed it. Been there, done that. That's true. I forgot about that one. I do that quite a bit. And like I mentioned earlier, Tracy doesn't live with a chronic condition. But I knew that other people without chronic conditions would. I meant to tell my parents about it. I knew they'd like this one tonight because we all, when we get to be a certain age, we lose some of our memory, right? So it's hard to know what's supposed to be happening, or maybe it's not supposed to be happening even with age. I don't know. Julia says, Lauren, we so appreciate you doing these lives. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled and pleasantly surprised that they've taken off as much as they have. I love doing them. I love the format of being able to talk to you guys, Julia, seeing your face on the screen along with your comment, which is the way it should be. I think it helps us all to, see what other people are saying and not just listen to me. But I'm really glad that you like them, and I've gotten great feedback from others as well. They're important, I think. They're kind of a town hall meeting for us to discuss things like diapers, losing memory, nothing to be ashamed of. We're wonderful people. We just have some problems. Heidi says, I need to write everything down. I set reminders before events in my phone calendar. That was a big one in my research. And I was going to talk about it in a little bit. I have to write everything down too. In fact, I'm kind of addicted to writing things down. I have more notebooks and planners and stuff. Wish I was this organized in school. It may have made things a little bit different. Yeah, Heidi, maybe when I start talking about the writing in a little bit, you can tell us a little bit more about how you go about doing that. I'd love to hear it. Margaret says, I have sleep apnea, and using what do they call BiPAP machine every night really helps my concentration. Really? It doesn't look pretty, but it's all good since I'm alone. My grandkids call it my Darth Vader mask. Oh, but they still beg to sleep in my bed when I visit. Oh, you mentioned you needed a sleep study. They aren't bad at all. Yeah, I've had them before. I know they're not bad. Although, to be honest with you, full disclosure, the last time I had one, I had been drinking. So it was at least 7 years ago. It's been a while. But yeah, I wasn't drinking all that much. I do remember the test. I know all the things that go on your head. Believe you me, right? You guys, from the test that we often have to take, that one's easy peasy. Thing I was most concerned about is being subjected to, germs, having to do a sleep study. But I'm fearful of. I have been told I should do this for several months, and then the pandemic started. I actually had one scheduled, and I'm like, well, I'm not going now. I was afraid of being, I am high risk. I was afraid that, like, sleep study's not, in the grand scheme of my test, it wasn't that important. Or now it's getting a little bit more important. Yeah, so anyway, I decided to go ahead, bite the bullet, and make an appointment, which I now have in September, which I don't know if I'll be able to keep either, because if the experts are right, looks like we may get another flare of this in the fall. I hope they're wrong, though. Meg Anderson says, Yeppers, love them. What do we love, Meg? Scrapbooks? Tomatoes? Oh, maybe the Roma tomatoes. You're probably talking about, because you talked about the Roma tomatoes. Did you hear what Meg said about the Roma tomatoes? What? Shut up. He told me to go back to talking about diapers. Yes, I love them too, Meg. Thank you. Kathy says, I'm sorry, gang. My last comment was meant to be private. I am embarrassed that it wasn't. Which comment? Oh. Well, I'm not going to bring attention to it. I'm getting all teared up. I'm sorry. I don't think you have anything to be embarrassed about, but only you know that, so I'm sorry. Clearly, I'm an empath. I mean, does this tell you anymore that I am an empath? And I think I may have said last week that I've been doing these daily readings from this book about thriving as an empath, and I've been doing it with the team, with Deborah, Jen, and Linda, and they're just so good when you're an empath. You know, empath used to be kind of a bad word, being you're too sensitive and all that stuff, and now I'm realizing and learning and reading that it's actually a superpower. I have no issues with being crying in front of people, clearly, which is a good thing, and I take on feelings of others, and I don't think that that is anything to be embarrassed about. I hope you guys don't either. I know a lot of us are empaths, and I'm writing an entire chapter about empaths in my book because it's amazing how many of us are empaths. Meg Anderson, I like to read, have problems remembering details like who. I had that written down in my things too. I get, well, now things are changing too. When I was driving quite a bit, I would get audiobooks because I would never have the time, it seemed, to read books anymore. So I thought, well, if I get an audiobook, I can listen to it in the car and maybe it'll help me more with my concentration. And it did a little bit. Now I'm not in the car so much, but when I am reading or even audio books, I have to go back several times a lot of the time. Even TV shows sometimes, I'll ask Rob if I can rewind for a couple seconds because I had no idea what just happened. If anybody has any suggestions for that, I may have mentioned this before. The way I'm writing with the book that I'm writing, when I started out several years ago, like 5 years ago, I was just doing like start, finish, different chapters, boom. Now I'm organizing it to more things, more like essays, separate essays, because I have realized that that's an easier way for us to comprehend things if you have issues with focusing and concentration and all that. So I hope that it does. I'm quite happy with it so far. Linda Edwards. Hey, Linda. My funny story is I was talking to a friend on the phone while putting groceries away, and I left my phone in the closet and couldn't find my friend or remember that I left her in the closet. We laughed and still laugh about it. Oh, you can't even tell your friend to call it because you lost your friend. That is a good one, Linda. That's a good one. Thank you for sharing that with us. Meg says, how people related to each other. Now I make cheat sheets. Mary ISV. How people related to each other. Oh, like when you're reading a book? Is that what you were saying, Meg? Because your last comment was, I like to read, have problems remembering details like, oh, it's a continuation. So let me, like how people are related to each other. Yes, I make cheat sheets when I'm doing books sometimes too. Hardy's, wait, Mary Hardy's cousin, etc. I have no doubt that you'll clear that up, Meg. But thank you. I do the same. And that's a good tip, actually, making cheat sheets. I haven't done that in a while, but I'm mostly reading nonfiction stuff on how to be happier and grateful and live with chronic pain anyway. Those like my passion, all this stuff. So I consider myself an expert in the field. But when next time I read a fiction book, I am going to make a cheat sheet because I do get confused, even on TV shows. I've been into like British dramas lately. Like just what I'm watching. Oh, what's the one I say? I can't even remember what I'm watching. Never mind. Remember what's in it. I'll think of it. It's like I'm still mourning Downton Abbey. I said downtown. Silly me. Okay, let's get on. Kathy Johnston. So I guess that shows my concentration level today too. Yeah. Okay, Kathy. Sorry. Pamela says, Kathy, I haven't seen it. And even if some have you amongst friends. Oh, okay. So, right. You guys are all seeing this before I do. Thank you, Pamela. Whoops. All right. You got an LOL on the AOG diapers. Can you make those, Kathy? You make t-shirts. Can you make AOG diapers? These are like paper. I am kidding, but it is a funny concept. And I would buy them if you were to make them. Just saying. Pamela Creighton says AOG diapers, laughing. I like the laugh. Facebook user. Hey there, Facebook user. Says, be nice to use forgetfulness to forget the bad things. Wait, let me read this again. Be nice to use forgetfulness to, it would be nice to use forgetfulness to forget the bad things I remember well. Isn't that the truth? I think I bring this up just about every week, but Robert Emmons, who is kind of the leading research on gratitude, he's written several books, and he's like my dream interview on this show. I'm hoping to get him someday. He talks about doing your gratitude list of 3 things you're grateful for right before you go to bed, which is kind of I kind of modified it a little. We do our gratitude earlier in the day, and then we do 3 things we did well towards the end of the night, a little before bedtime, or whenever you find it, whenever you get around to it. But it's so funny how you can have a list of 20 things that you did really well today, or at least you did, and you had a good attitude, right? And you're going to remember that one bad thing, which wasn't even all that big, chances are, right? So that's the type of thing that can be wiped out by writing down a list of all the good things that you did today, or at least a few, so you can remember those are much bigger things than the one thing you didn't do so well, chances are. And if it was a really bad thing that you're going to remember for a long time, helps me anyway to remember what to be grateful for in life, right? Like I have talked to you guys many times about that accident, that the last DUI I had, and I don't remember any of it. But what was my point? That wasn't my point, I don't think. Oh, well, I remember the experience. I remember waking up in the hospital, my parents there, my husband there. It was horrifying. I'm actually arguing with my family that I didn't go anywhere. That's how drunk I was. And I'm not proud of it. That is not funny at all. But I'm going off of this comment. It would be nice to use forgetfulness to forget the bad things I remember well. I will never, ever, ever forget how I felt that day. And I often say that is the basis for all of my gratitude, because really, in my book anyway, nothing gets worse than that. Nothing. So even my worst day today is still going to be better than that. That's story of my baseline gratitude right there. It's hard to get much lower. Hey, Arlene's here, waving from the Rockies. You doing a queen wave, Arlene? Arlene is camping, um, which she does very well. We're glad she's sharing it with. Oh, isn't that a cute little picture of you from the Rockies? Thanks for checking in, Arlene. Not very good Wi-Fi, so we'll watch this later. Great. Oh gosh, I'm so behind in these, aren't I? I'm sorry. The Roma, yeah, I figured that. Meg. Sarah says hugs. Thank you. Oh, Kathy. Please don't cry, really. Okay, I won't. Oh, what's the name of the book or devotional about empaths? I could go upstairs and get it. Or I think I took a picture of that too. Oh, here it is. I wonder if I can pull it up on Amazon to get a better picture of it for you guys, because I know it's so hard to see phone pictures by screen. Bear with me 1 minute, gang. And I don't even remember how I found this book, but I really have been kind of thinking a lot about empathy lately, especially going to flush the format. I mean, it's really kind of astounding how every single person says that they're an empath. And I think it's a really common thing that people with chronic disease, for some, maybe not chronic disease, maybe I should rephrase that. People from our group, it's a common thing, and I guess that's not so strange, is it? Because if we are looking to change our lives and look and deal with our pain through a grateful lens, then chances are you love other people too, a lot. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It makes me love all you guys, that's for sure. And if you've been around a while, you know that you've made at least one good friend from this group. You know that. And that's because you let people get to know you and you get to know them. And somehow we do that. We're able to do that, even without saying what we struggle with, unless it's at Flush the Format or this. Okay, I did find it on Amazon. Once again, I swear I don't make money from this. I wish I did. This is the book by Judith Orloff, MD, Thriving as an Empath, 365 Days of Self-Care for Sensitive People. It's such a fantastic book. Linda, Jen, Deborah will totally agree. It's wonderful. Like, I'm hearing things that I've never heard before. Yesterday's reading was on chocolate. I think it was yesterday. No, it was a couple days ago. Obviously, that one touched me because I'm still talking about it. Let me put a bigger screen so you guys can see it. Thriving as an Empath. It looks like it was only released in October. Well, that's cool. I'm trying to think of what some of the other topics have been. They haven't been things that I was expecting. They're kind of, some of them are really off the beaten path, which I like. I like a lot. Yesterday, I think it was on keeping a dream journal. No, that was last week, but keeping a dream journal. And it talks about, empaths often report that their dreams are very vivid, things like that, which I didn't know. I've never, up until the last couple of years, I haven't been so open with my empathy talking about it. Obviously, if I cry like I do, people are going to know. But yeah, I'm looking at it like a superpower now, which I think is the way it's going to be, because you can tell somebody, and I would never, but somebody could tell you maybe, don't be so sensitive. You're overreacting. And that's a big, big pet peeve of mine, because who has the baseline for what's oversensitive or undersensitive? Sociopath is going to be undersensitive. What's that baseline, and who determines it? Nobody. That's who. So the way I feel is the way I feel. And I'm going to say that for you guys too. So Sarah, hopefully you got that. It's called Thriving as an Empath. Gail, I used to take pride in my organizational skills. Now the simplest things get me flustered. I have to keep everything close to me as I'm always sitting up on my bed. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that also, Gail. It's frustrating is an understatement, isn't it? And flustered. And then, trying to think of like what I go through in my head when I just had this here. I just left this here. How could I lose it already? Or I just came upstairs and I have no idea why I came upstairs. And that stuff I've been dealing with for a long time, as many of you have as well. It's getting a little bit more apparent and drastic to me lately, past year or so, I would say. So, yeah, it's frustrating. But once again, I'll say the only thing we have control over is how we respond to things, right? So if it's going to happen, I would love to stop it, and maybe we'll have some ideas on how to stop it. But if it doesn't, just learning how to manage it and have a good attitude about it is all I'm looking for. Sarah says, I love to read, and I listen to audio versions and read along so my eyes and ears work together. I love doing that too. And I can build a foundation of understanding of the chapter. Then I reread chapter again and notate important things to remember. Even redo. You redo the system till you have a full understanding of what I've read before moving forward. Wow, that's awesome. Those are great, great tips. I definitely like to get an audiobook and have the hard copy with it if possible, because I think that helps me. That helps me too, for sure. Great tips. Thank you, Sarah. I may ask you to, I guess we'll have it here in the group, but I would love to write this system down. Maybe you can help somebody else too. Meg says, iPad's messing up. Sorry. No worries, sister. We're all there. Heidi says, I often use the house phone or get a family member to call when I misplace my cell phone in the house. Yeah, my family just knows Amy used to call me a hot mess. And she said, used to say it in a loving way. Look at this, we're at an hour already. For goodness sakes. That's okay. We need to say what we need to say, right? She used to call me a hot mess, and I embraced my hot messness after a while too, because it's funny, and I can do all of these tips that we're talking about and still have it, and so may as well laugh about it, right? I am a hot mess. Gail says, I was screaming. Where did she go? I'm not disconnected. Wait, now I'm forgetting what you said before. Oh. Sorry, Gail. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to. I know I'm far behind in what I'm talking about in these comments, so I apologize. Did we lose you, or are you talking about another story, Gail? I'd love to know. Sorry. Okay. Sarah, please share book titles. I love to read and learn. I usually do, as you know. You are pretty much here every week. So thank you for asking for that book title. I think I may have mentioned it last week as well. I wish I had it down here. I could have looked for a reading on focus and memory loss. Should I run upstairs and get it? I don't know. We'll see how we do on our comments here. Kathy Johnston, I could monogram AOG diapers. Now that's something else. That is something else. Anybody that wants monogrammed pull-ups, as Gail says here, they are. See Kathy Johnston. She can do it. That would be so funny. Kathy Zell Thompson. Hey, Kathy. One of these days, I plan to make it to Flush the Format. Oh, they're so great. I missed both of them this week, and I really feel it. I wasn't having the greatest week myself. Wednesday, I was feeling a little bit of nausea, but I hate missing them. And Linda and I have talked about maybe adding another day eventually. We're having some fantastic discussions. Like, unless you've ever been to one, you can't really describe it. It's kind of like this, but we obviously talk, and I don't have to worry about, putting everybody's, not worry, but I don't have to put comments up on the screen. It's just a fantastic give and take. A lot of times we'll have somebody there that really, really needs to talk about specifics. And that is the purpose of our Flush the Format. For those of you that may not know, I'm talking about our live chat that we do it's Tuesday. These are my time, Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday nights, beginning at 7 p.m. This begins at 8, which you just tuned into, but that begins at 7. And then Wednesday afternoon, the next day, we do it at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can find out about this in the group under events. You will see it. Flush the Format. We do it on Zoom. We don't do it on this format. So everybody gets their own little square. You can keep the video off if you don't feel like being seen that day. You can turn the audio off too if you just want to, listen and not contribute. That's absolutely fine. I say this all the time, but Linda has been running this for us beautifully for the past couple of years. And I think it was at least the first year, Linda did not show herself or say a word during Flush the Format. I love that story. And now she's running it. And she still keeps her camera off, which is fine. There's no, there's no benefit to having your picture up there if you don't feel it. If you feel more confident that day with not being seen, if you have a bad hair day or bad hair month or whatever, look at these roots. This is, when was this done? Maybe the beginning of March, maybe end of February. Oh, thanks. I forgot I have a little helper here. Thanks, babe. Here's the book. I should use you more often, babe. Thriving as an Empath. I got the hardcover copy. And so I'm taking a reading from this and sending it out to the team. Let me see if they have anything on focus real quick. Uh-oh, there's no index. Oh, man. But even though they don't have an index, like I told you about yesterday was chocolate. The day before was talking about dream journals. Oh, July 13th was called Ocean and Tides. Oceans and Tides. And it says sensitive people often gravitate to the ocean. Did you know this? I didn't. The primordial sound of the surf can feel reassuring and vibrate deep in your soul. I mean, every morning when I send this to the girls, we talk about it a little bit. Oh, July 12th was communing with plants. And Deborah, if you've ever talked a video talk with Deborah Immer Scott, she's got plants all over the place. She's like my dream empath, Deborah, because every day when I post something with a tip, she does it already. So she's the superpower empath. July 11th was keeping cool. Empaths can be sensitive to temperature and intense light. Deja Vu is July 9th. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of how off the beaten path these readings are. Highly recommend. And I'm going to have to tell this Judith Orloff that I need a kickback. Julia, the biggest thing I misplace is my mind. But in all seriousness, I think we as chronic pain folks can misplace our brains and then go on a long hunt to find our brains. You say LOL, and that is funny. It just started me thinking, like, that's absolutely true. And so then what do we do when we're on that long hunt to find them again? What do you do, Julia? Do you beat yourself up like I sometimes do? Like when I was looking for Karen's package for a week, I'm like, how could I lose it? How could I lose it? I had it already here. I was organized. The label was on. Now I've got to do a custom form, and I put it in a safe place. Can't find it. Found it yesterday, and kind of the spot I thought it was. That's the worst. But yeah, we can add that as another question for you guys out there. What do you, when you misplace your brain? Well, that kind of leads into our final discussion. I know we're already at hour 9, but helpful tips and the way you deal with this slowly dwindling brain, or what I wanted to end things on. There's something else I was going to read. Um, one of these books here. Gee, I wonder which of these things it was under. I get the gist of it. Was the tips that some of these are mine and some of these are from the book. The first thing I recommend is talking to your family, because if they don't know what's going on, it can be hard to deal with. I've always prided myself on being a good listener, and I still believe that I am at the time. And I'd really try to be very focused and give this person my time and all that. And I just forget. So I tell my very closest of friends, including all 5,300 of you guys, my closest of friends and my family, no. But I can't help it. Ooh, I think crying's coming on again. Uh-oh. The disappointment in my daughter Riley's eyes when she has to repeat something for me, when she's like, I just told you this yesterday. I think she's starting to understand a little bit more that it's not that I wasn't listening to her, that I'm having memory issues. I think it's just hard for her to see, and I don't blame her. Okay, Sarah Garrison, anyone else? I went back into the UPS store to ask if I'd left my sunglasses on the counter. I was wearing them. Please tell me I'm not alone. You're not alone. Definitely not. Gail, in parentheses. That's supposed to be a hug? Not necessarily up on all this stuff. I'm still confused over Gail's last thing, but I'm on a journey. Oh! Gail was the person you were talking to, Linda. Ha! You were the friend she abandoned in the closet. It's funny. When I first read your comment, that was my first immediate reaction, and then I guess my brain kind of lost it because I'm like, nah, Linda would have said something. She's trying to protect your privacy. So now I have to read your comment again. Oh, I was screaming. Where did she go? I'm not disconnected. That is too funny. And I assume you could hear her. Was she saying anything? Do tell. Okay. Kathy says, my gift of empathy helped me so much when I worked with people with disabilities, I bet, because many of them were nonverbal. I could figure out what they wanted more quickly than others often could. Ooh, that's a really good point. A really good point. And a beautiful, beautiful way to distribute your gift of empathy too. I often, when Amy was alive, I was with her in the hospital, in and out for months, the last year, all broken up, but, months. So we met a lot of nurses and doctors and all that. And the nurses, for the most part, were wonderful. And my experience when I'm in the hospital, I think nurses don't get paid enough. I think that you've got to get into it, or you've got to love it to get into it, I was going to say. And most of them are very, very gifted at what they do. Once in a while, you'll get that stinker. And it's a shame too, because I forget all of the people's names of the good nurses I've had. And I remember Nurse Nancy from 2012. I remember the evil one. Terrible, I'm saying evil. But yeah, I remember the bad one. But ask me the name of somebody else or somebody. There was another Amy that helped Amy. I remember that for obvious reasons, but I don't remember their names. Anyhow, I often say that I wish doctors had empathy, and most of them do. It just sometimes they feel awfully cold, don't they? And it would be helpful to talk to a doctor who understands how you're feeling, understands your plight. Um, Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but we have each other. We understand each other, don't we? That was a great comment. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy Johnston. P.S. We are all a hot mess. Hot mess unite. Thanks, Kathy. Linda's phone call, Kayla. All right. Chocolate will do, says Meg. Julia, can you show the book name he gave you again? I think I'm more behind than I expect, but I think this is the only book we've talked about. Thriving as an Empath, is that the one that you're talking about, Julia? If I mentioned another one, let me know. Maybe I can put the link to this on Amazon in the comments when actually now, because this is still up. Copy. I'm going to show off my technical skills. Whoa. All right. We'll see if that posts. It's very lengthy. But the book is called Thriving as an Empath. Yeah. It's not. Oh, my. Holy moly. Can you guys see all that? All right. I don't know what that is. Meg says, no wonder I love the ocean. Isn't that something? I did not know that either. I knew the ocean was very healthy for people, listening to the tides. And I do believe that we're kind of tied in with the tides in some way. I don't know what, but, it just draws me in. I didn't know it was particular to sensitive people. That's really interesting. Julia says, if I misplace something I took for 10 minutes, then I let it go and have the universe bring me to it. Because if I look for that item for hours, I won't find it the same day most of the time. Damn, is that a good idea? Man, Julia, thank you for sharing that. Have the universe bring it to you, right? Because when you're not looking, it's going to show up. And I'll admit, when I found that package yesterday, I wasn't looking at that moment. Look, yeah, I think I deciphered it. Julia, did I just see you holding the Living Healthy with Chronic Pain book? I have that book from the self-management program. Great book. Yes, you did. And honestly, even though there's a lot of things done here, I think Margaret Carter actually told me about this book. It's got like some kind of CD or something in it too. I would like to read more of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I did see that they had, not a lot of books had things about losing concentration, losing memory, focus and all that. But this one did. So, I'll have to, do I have it on audio? I think I might. But thank you for the plug. I will definitely try to look into that. All right. This is what I was talking about. What the heck is that? It's supposed to be a link to the book. And there's another one. And there's, okay. Remind me. Oh, what's it? Oh, that one's lovely. Remind me next time, don't post links again while I'm on the air. Margaret says, the more I worry about my memory while in conversation, the more I am likely to lose my thought. That's so true. Carrie, my daughter, fills in my blanks almost naturally. Rob does too with me. We are together a lot. Now with my professor's son, the more likely I am to lose my words. He seems surprised and just waits. Yikes, I've had 4 brain surgeries. Well, I think it should be very easy for people to understand why you don't have your full memory. But Amy and I used to complete each other's sentences and stuff too. It was really cute. I used to talk to her about losing my memory and how concerned I was, and she said that she would make sure the rest of our lives, being best friends, that she would do 50 first dates with me every day so I wouldn't get scared. Very, very sweet. And okay, Gail's got a secret code now. It's probably something that's meant to be, I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. But if you can fill me in, Gail, that's great. Let me just go over a couple different things that I found since we're really running late. So talk to your family. I got to the very first one. Give yourself extra time to do things, which I have a hard time with myself because I'm like, this should only take 5 minutes. It's like my famous thing. It'll only take 5 minutes. Well, it doesn't, not anymore. And that's okay. Don't try to accomplish too much. If your task is complex, break it down into small pieces. Heidi mentioned earlier, we were talking about writing things down. I did not always keep a planner. It's only been like the past 4 years or something. And I can't remember how I got into it. Oh, yes, I can. Duh. It was, don't say duh. That's like putting yourself down. I'm taking my duh back. When we started the journaling club, the Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain Journaling Club, I got a planner. And I think the very first challenge that we had was like organizing your planner or whatever. I've gotten into much more complex since then. And I use a Japanese one called the Hobonichi Techo, and it's this big thing. But I use it for my AOG work. See all these dots? That's different posts that I've done. I can look at this and see what's completed, what's not. Anyway, everything that I need to remember, well, not everything I need to remember, details that I need to remember, I put in here. This is just today. Is that today? Yes, that's today. And it's not manageable. This is my list of things I should have been done today. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I did 4. That's awesome, actually. I don't put them down. I say this every week. I don't put them down thinking I'm going to accomplish it all that day. I more carry it over so I remember to do it eventually. So writing things down, I also do it to remember things, but I also find that the act of writing a task down or writing a date down, the act of writing it gives me a little bit more reinforcement. And then looking at it on paper gives me another reinforcement. So I've got all these extra layers I'm trying to add to help me. And it does work sometimes. But yes, writing is a big one that I felt in my research, found everywhere. Write things down. Don't expect you to remember the things that you used to, because it just doesn't happen. Make sure you pace yourself. I talked about, one of the articles I read said talk about being physically active, and whatever that means to you. I say this every week too, that I should have like a special code or something. I'll do a heart when I'm trying to remember what I was just talking about. This is like my da, 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 da. Now I don't even remember what I said before the thing I was trying to remember. What were we talking about? Physically active. Oh, yes. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. So whatever is recommended on this show, if it's a drastic change to what you're already doing, please talk to your doctor. I am not a doctor. I go by articles I read or things that I've tried or things I've been told. So it's be physically active because it increases your blood flow and your oxygen to the brain, which helps your concentration issues. Relaxation techniques, everybody said that. And, we do our breath breaks if you do them, but we put them in the group just about every day. It takes a minute, 2, 3. If you can do a meditation, maybe 10, 20. But I choose to put in the group just like 2, 3 minute, spurts from YouTube where we just take time to breathe and check in with ourselves, because, 3 minutes is doable. I don't feel like I have to save the afternoon, and, eventually I work up, but you can't expect to work up quickly, So it just takes a couple of minutes. I encourage you all to do at least our breath breaks. Coconut oil is something that I do. And again, please check with your doctor or do your own reading, which is what I did online. Coconut oil. And I had to look up, I've been doing this for a while now. I used to do it years ago, and then I kind of forgot, and I've just started doing it again, thanks to the recommendation of a a friend of mine who keeps asking me every day if I did it, and helps me to remember. But I forgot what was in coconut oil. It helps it helps peeps with Alzheimer's, supposedly. Tests and studies have been shown that it boosts ketones, which are, so what happens when you can't read your writing? You're writing things down to remember them, and then you can't read your writing. Boost ketones, which are important to the brain. I think it says to the brain. So I think it recommends like a tablespoon a day. Right now, coconut oil is one of those things that goes liquid or solid based on temperature. It's one of those kind of fats. So most of the winter, it's me like scooping a tablespoonful and eating it, and it's not so bad. It tastes like coconut and fat. But right now, the temperature, the humidity, I guess in New Jersey, like it's liquid. I just like take a big sip. It's not. It's not as bad as it sounds. Drinking more fluids. I did not know this one. A 2012 study in the Journal of Nutrition said that mild dehydration can cause memory loss. For those of us like me with incontinence issues, you try not, when you're going out especially, you try not to drink so much because you have to go all the time. But then there's a whole set of other problems that come from dehydration. So when in doubt, put on a diaper, preferably with AOG or with your monogram on it, and drink lots of fluids because that's what's best for us. We all know that. Writing lists. It's kind of like talking about it in the planner there. When I mentioned this, I think a few weeks ago when we talked about things we can't do so much now based on things we used to do. And I talk about, I love to entertain. And I used to have people over all the time, and now not so much, especially right now, not so much. But even though I love to entertain, I get kind of, I guess anxious would be the right word. I've got a million things going on every direction. I used to cook everything from scratch. I've done that. Now I just get stuff from the local pizza place. But I would get in my head, I've got so many things to do. But then when I started writing these things down, that's just an example of one of the many lists that I make. When I started writing things down, what I realized is there wasn't that much. What I was doing was replaying my list over and over in my head. So it made it seem, double as much, triple as much, quadruple as much. All it took is writing it down and seeing things for what they really were. And for me, it really helps. Gail says she didn't write that thing. It probably was on the tail end of that crazy thing that posted in my link, and somehow it morphed into you, Gail. I'm sorry. I didn't write that. Pamela says, writing something down has been scientifically proven to help something stay in your memory. I kind of figured, I hadn't heard that, but Pam, she says, I'll clarify, actually writing, not typing. That I did know. And I think I've posted a few articles about why doing happy mail to people is not only very mindful, but it's also really, really great for your memory to write. Let's get back to basics and write things longhand. Some things we can't, but some things we can. And it's, I'm a fountain pen collector. I love to write. I also have tremors, sometimes worse than others. It's not ideal. And see, I think I've shown these before. Second and third shelf down, or no, first and second shelf down. That's all ink. Filling up a pen with fountain ink when you have the tremors is really not the smartest thing to do. But Tremor Girl here does it. And I am shocked that I haven't had a big accident yet. And now my husband's hearing me say this in the other room, and we both know it's going to happen now that I've said it. That's funny, Kathy. That's crazy. Are all those essential oils up on your shelf? There must be oils that help with concentration, right? Yes, there are. And Eva, it was one of the things that Eva wanted to get to last week and didn't. I'm pretty sure She mentioned peppermint. You can do, I think peppermint helps to invigorate and helps you to have better focus. She also mentioned, I think somebody that was at this Flush the Format, or Eva, if you're on here, correct me, but I thought she said something like people have been known in the ADHD community to put a little like mint chapstick under their nose so they can continuously smell it. Interesting. So no, yeah, the part of me that wants to help everybody, help you guys, will say yes, that's all essential oils, but it's not. I do have essential oils, though. They're all in my drawer in the bathroom, which I won't have Rob come get for you. But I do keep this one at my desk, lavender, because that helps calm me down. I don't know if you guys, I think we may have talked about this recently. Just put a little in my hand. Yeah, I think we talked about it last week, as a matter of fact. Just put a little in my palm of my hand and do this. I don't know what's in it, but it calms me right down. If that can be done, we don't know. I'm going to skip here just for a minute. Margaret says rosemary does help too. Interesting. I think maybe you mentioned this a couple weeks ago too. Now I'm starting to remember, and I think at the time I said that's the one herb I didn't grow this year. Yes, because Rob heard it. And then he went out the next weekend, and guess who's growing rosemary now? Thanks, honey. Does the coconut oil help you, Lauren? I don't know. I don't know when would be the litmus test for figuring out. I wouldn't even know how to figure out. Maybe I could be a lot worse at this point. I'm not really sure. I haven't been back doing it for long enough to determine that. I really wish there was a way I could determine that. But I am hopeful, always hopeful. So it's not a big deal for me to eat that coconut oil. I know it's good for you in other ways too. So I'll go ahead and eat or drink the coconut oil. If I find that it does help, you know, and it's something that I can actually hang my hat on, I will certainly let you know. Rosemary does help too. Good to know. I assume you can just if you have it fresh, you can rub it in your hand and smell it. They do make it rosemary essential oils. I have that in the other room too. Yeah, we talked about essential oils. Now I'm remembering. See, this is the problem with having a host with memory issues, because we're going to talk about the same stuff every week. I talked about taking oregano once, and I took it straight, like a couple drops, and I burned the back of my throat. Some you can take straight, some you can't. Word to the wise. Pamela says, you are right. Peppermint is the one to help with concentration. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know enough about essential oils. If anybody's really well versed in them, I do believe in them. Young Living is a brand that I've had, but I've also gotten some stuff from Whole Foods and whatever. And I have over there somewhere, I have an essential oil diffuser, which I'll sometimes put on. And we used it when Amy and Anna would sleep over. We would use it and they had some herbs that they think help children with ADHD. So we would put those in there. And she was still a lunatic, but I take lavender and I'm still a lunatic too. Okay, did I miss anything? Drink more fluids, writing in your planner, reduce clutter, and reduce distractions. And that's all I've gotten. It looks like you guys are done too. Thank you. I hope you learned something tonight. I did. Got some really great ideas. If there's anything you would like repeated, I will put the real link to the book in the comments. But thank you guys for being here. We've got 13 people live with us right now, from what I can tell, which is really great. Consider we've got an hour and almost 40 minutes. It's ridiculous. But obviously you like something because you're hanging in there. So thank you for those of you that come just about every week, those of you that are here for the first time, those of you that pop in and out as you can. I'm just grateful you're here. And for the people that are going to watch this later, they will have the opportunity, not live, which is ideal, but to go back and they get to hear all your and read all your comments too. So thank you for contributing. You guys are truly the best. I don't know what I would do without you. I don't know what I ever did without AOG, to be honest. It's weird for me to think, 5.5 years ago, I was doing this without you guys. Isn't that a funny concept for those of you that have been here for a while? It's a funny concept. I'm glad I don't have to worry about that anymore. I do worry sometimes if something happens to Facebook, how we're all going to find each other. We'll figure it out. We know how to find each other, I think. Okay, we're closing up here. Kathy Johnston says, Lauren, I love you, girlfriend. Thank you for all you share. Have a good evening. Thank you. You too, Kathy. I hope you're feeling good. Get working on those diapers. Vicki Blackburn's here. Hey, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Pamela, one last thing here. She says, peppermint is one that will burn your throat too and your eyes, so don't drink or rub it between palms and inhale. Good tip. I've used it with, is it like a carrier oil they talk about it with? It's just like kind of a plain oil, a couple drops of peppermint, and I've used that for like aching muscles and stuff. I don't know if that's right. I don't know how I learned that, but it works. Facebook user says, thanks so much, Lauren. Thanks so much, Facebook user. Thank you for being here. And we'll close it with Diana. Diana I'm convinced it's going to flow off the tongue, your maiden name. McGillivary. Diana McGillivary Brusso says, thank you. Thank you for being here, to all of you, and for hanging in. I love you all. If you have ideas for topics for future episodes, if you have ideas, I'm fully open to any ideas that you guys might have. I love you. See you next week. Peace and love, gang. Good night, Grateful Gang. And broadcast.